Hello, everyone, and welcome to Flickering Myth TV. My name is EJ Marino, and today we have another big topic on these fun video podcasts. Alan is joining me over here. Thank you so much for redoing this. We're going to have another fun go at this. Those Christopher Nolan comments were getting a little spicy, so you were
not nearly as hate-filled as I thought they would be, but
someone was just like, EJ's ignorant, and I'm like, oh, yes. True.
Yeah.
Now
we're here to burn all the bridges.
Yes, we have a weird topic because we do this on the podcast and I always think these are fun. These more kind of free-form conversations, seeing how we feel about topics. Today's topic is the worst directors of all time, more so who we feel is probably some bad directors. Because there's going to be people on here that aren't completely incompetent filmmakers, but cannot make a good movie, or those ones who made good movies and are not so much anymore. I kindly jokingly said Ridley Scott, but he is kind of one of those guys where I was like, God, he was so cool, and then, whew, and not even a full. I don't think Prometheus is a bad movie.
Yeah,
it's a weirdly written movie, and I blame Damien Lindelof for that. He is the problem. But
I liked Prometheus. I even liked Alien Covenant, which we'll tag up on some alien stuff in this conversation. But Ridley Scott went from being like one of the most consistent directors, like constantly at the top of his game, to just being like the spottiest son of a bitch. So.
Which is it's Gladiator. He got that Oscar nom. Maybe win? Did he win for Gladiator? Yeah. He
won Best Picture. Yeah.
Yes. So he gets that, and he's just like, well, now I can do whatever.
I'm gonna go make Hannibal, which is a piece of shit.
And what a director to direct Hannibal, and then that became the recurring theme with him. It's like, oh, cool, Robin Hood. Yeah, sure. No.
Yeah, that thing. God.
So when I asked you worst director in in our little chat, who popped in your brain first? Like, what was the picture definition when you thought of this?
My immediate reaction whenever you said that, and this came on the heels of them announcing that, or Ridley Scott saying that he wants to make more Alien prequels. And a bunch of people jumping into comments on various posts being like, they should have let Neil Blomkamp do his Alien 5. Which his Alien 5 was that he wanted to retcon Alien 3.
I remember those concept art photos.
Yeah. Now, a lot of people don't like Alien 3, and I get it. I do like Alien 3, but however you feel about it, Neil Blomkamp has never made a movie as good as Alien 3. So,
I would say I think District 9 has a lot of pieces that I like. I remember revisiting it maybe even 2 years ago and being like, this movie doesn't have a plot. Like it's not even, they don't even go full mockumentary or like found footage. It feels like it would be.
It shifts and it's tonally imbalanced. It's poorly directed. And I think the plot is ham-fisted. Like, oh, this is like apartheid. Like, I talked to so many people that were like, but that's what he's doing. It's like it's apartheid with aliens. I'm like, yeah, no shit. That's not like there's no subtext there. It's just there. It's not subtle.
Like when David Ayer made Black People Orcs in his Bright film, and everyone's like, wow, what a powerful thing. And I'm like, he's one I could maybe add to this list, even though think Suicide Squad is a hilariously fun.
He's on this list.
Oh, okay, yeah, good. Well, he had the problem where I think for years we thought he directed Training Day, and we were like, oh yeah, and he just wrote it.
He just wrote it, but he also wrote The Fast and the Furious, which I like because it's Point Break with cars. But it's not masterfully written.
No, the problem is it's Point Break with cars in 2001.
Yes. And that's what it feels like, and that's what it forever will be.
Yeah. Where at least I feel like the other Fast and Furious movies are a little bit more, I don't want to say timeless. They just feel like insane cartoons that they don't feel this specific. I don't see when I'm like, oh, Fast Five is very 2010. No, it's it's Fast
just
Five.
a big ridiculous, action heist movie.
So when I was writing this and thinking of this, my first director that comes up, it's the infamous, and it's such a cheesy answer. It's Uwe Boll, who I feel is in almost gleefully, like the way I think John Waters is a bad director, but he's actually not a bad director. He just makes purposely bad movies.
Yeah.
Uwe Boll, I think, likes being a bad director. I think he very much is in his aesthetic. It's Paul W.S. Anderson is someone I would put in that as well. I happen to like his bad Resident Evil movies, and Mortal Kombat, and AVP, and you know what? Never mind.
Event Horizon.
Obviously, Paul W.S. Anderson is not on this list. He's a weird guy. His movies are fine. No, yeah, Uwe Boll with I Always Go to House of the Dead being one of the worst movies I have ever seen.
Oh, God, yeah, that's not a good one.
In the history of films, Alone in the Dark, a movie many people consider one of the worst movies of all time. I think Miss Tara Reid's even in it. Christian Slater, I think?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. He's just one of those guys, but now he makes like really bad Z-rated movies. He's like on Sharknado level of bad directing, and he's one of the ones.
Have you seen his Postal movie?
No. Oh, I might have to have a Uwe Boll night tonight.
No, you don't. I would recommend against it. I mean, it's not only is it bad, but it is kind of just draining. It's soul draining. It's not fun bad. It's just like, oh.
Yeah. The worst kind of bad movies, which I feel like I wouldn't put some other directors on this list because sometimes a bad movie is fun. Or we have someone who I don't think we've ever talked about this human in full depth. Michael Bay is, he's a director who I think is not a good director. I feel on average, I would watch a Michael Bay movie though. Even if I'm just like, oh, there's still a competent level to it. Like minus that one weird Chinese bought Transformers movie that, that one I think is bad, but like The Last Night is a bad movie, but there's like a singing robot who's kind of gay. I'm there. Like
I mean I might catch a little flack for it, but I don't think Michael Bay is that awful. I think he's had some great moments. I think The Rock is a great time. I think the first Bad Boys is fun. It's very of its time, but I think the
first Transformers movie is not a bad movie.
Whenever I saw the first Transformers movie, I walked out of it and went, that's about the best you could do that. And I maintain, like, it's fine. The sequel, I didn't see anything past 2 because I saw that and I was like, this was like 2.5 hours plus.
And
like,
make it longer.
That's unforgivable.
And worse. No, yeah, that first one is a competent movie. I would also put like Pirates in the Caribbean as good, competent movies, bad sequels. Yeah, and Michael Bay is just weird because I think he has the meme worthiness of being a bad director, and I think he falls into how we were kind of talking before this, Zack Snyder, where like my film aesthetic doesn't match Michael Bay's film aesthetic. What I want to see isn't what he offers. Same thing. I think that's a lot of people's thing with Zack Snyder is I feel like he knows a beginning, middle, and end. He knows framing. He gets the basics of being a director where I feel like Uwe Boll doesn't care. He doesn't care about the rule of thirds. Like,
I'm pretty sure he's come out and just been like, I just do this because I can make money through German tax loopholes. Yeah. And you know what? Respect. Fine.
No, agree. So yeah, that's where like I feel like the difference between like a Snyder and a Bay to some actual bad directors is I think those are just like, I don't agree with Michael Bay's aesthetic. We like different things. I don't like product placement from beer and like girls and like cut off shirts. It's not for me. Even if you like that, he just does it bad. He just is a weird director that I just don't think has an aesthetic that really matches with everybody. But he's a $1 billion director for that reason, though. Like he has a billion other people who do like it. So I think he's an interesting director. Who else comes on your list of bad and or worst directors?
Oh God, I don't know, but I do need to dig back into Neil Blomkamp because we touched on that a little bit.
Oh, okay. There was more. Okay, well, I guess we didn't talk about Chappie and the other one with Matt Damon. I don't know that.
Elysium.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. District 9 was maybe a decent idea for a movie somewhere in there, but it is a bad movie. That movie was nominated for Best Picture, and it's probably the worst movie to ever be nominated for Best Picture. That's a long, deep history.
We're gonna do that one day. Put a pin in that. We're gonna do that as an episode of worst movies to be nominated for Best Picture. Ooh, I like that. But yes, go
on. And then Elysium probably had a good idea behind it, but it's not a good movie.
No.
Nobody in the history of cinema, maybe that's a little too far, but nobody in recent memory in cinema has had such an undue reputation as Neil Blomkamp. I cannot understand it for the life of me why he has people that think he's good. I mean, because people will readily admit that even if they like District 9, that it is a very flawed movie, and nobody liked the other two, but people are still just like, Neil Blomkamp can do something great. No, he can't. He's not good. He's awful. He's terrible. He doesn't deserve a career.
Yeah, I was a prime demo for Chappie because I like Dire Antwoord. So yeah, like I was just like, oh, cool. Like I should like this movie. There are actors in it, and I kind of maintain that the only good thing in that movie because they're the only ones like doing something. I feel like they're at least like they're like, I don't know, we're just gonna do our gimmick here, fine, fun.
Like this is barely a movie, so let's just
yeah, they're like, let's just make this a really long music video for us. We're fine. Who else? Who else do you got rolling around in that brain? We talked about David Ayer. I don't think we need to jump into him. We discussed Ayer.
This is hard because it's not like I don't like any of his movies, and in fact, I really like a couple of them. But James Cameron.
Oh yeah, yes, yes.
I don't think he's very good. I don't think he's a talented director of human beings. I think he has.
That's such a broad statement that I knew exactly what you meant though. Like he's not good at. Yeah, he's not. He's really in a similar thing to why I feel about Snyder. He's so good with the tech, nerdy aspects of film. Mm-hmm. It completely loses the soul and the storytelling and all that.
Yeah. And it's just, he's cranked out a couple of good things. I like both the Terminators. And
do you like Aliens? Because I'm not an Aliens fan.
So. I don't love Aliens. I think it's fun, but to me it's the odd man out in the whole Alien pantheon. Like it's one of the better ones. It's not. It's probably. I don't know. I like Alien 3 more than I like Aliens, I'll be honest with you.
And for me, I don't love action movies, which Aliens is a action movie before it's a horror film. The other ones are still more sci-fi and weird, especially back to Ridley Scott's Prometheus and Covenant, that are more heady sci-fi, stupid stuff. But Alien is, I think, the best out of all of them. And yeah, so I think Cameron is someone I would probably put on the list because I don't like him. I don't think Avatar, I would also put as maybe one of the weakest to get nominated for Best Picture.
Yeah. Honestly, that's my problem with him is not so much like it's that he tried to be more than a genre director. Like Titanic, I think is an awful movie. I think it's an awful movie. I think there's decent performances in there, but it has nothing to do with his ability to direct actors.
Yeah, they went above and beyond his talent.
Yeah, I think as a drama piece, it is...
it's melodrama, it's not drama.
Yeah, exactly.
It's soapy. It's a soap opera.
Yeah, and it just doesn't... I don't know. There's things I like about it, but...
His love stories go to soap opera. He has... because Avatar and Titanic have a lot of similarities with... They're both movies that made a lot of money and technologically advanced the industry, which is what I think their hailed for.
Yeah, well, Avatar sent us on a divergent path. It didn't really do like it brought in that dead end 3D wave, which
It did, but I also think a lot of what it did with using CG and all that, I think he tried something. I think Circus was already doing it with like the Lord of the Rings with a lot of the mocap and stuff, but I really think he went full on with it. Actually, no, Polar Express did it before him, so never mind. I'm not going to give him all that, but yeah, I think he is someone in the industry that I think makes moves similar to. I don't like the mass majority of Spielberg's filmography. I think he's a good director. I don't like the most of his filmography, and I think what they've done for the industry will always make them holier than thou in that way. Even if like no one has ever seen the 35th Tom Hanks Steven Spielberg old man movie, you know, they're fine. Like
I like Steven Spielberg's old man movies more than his other ones at this point.
I mean, I would rather him be an old man than Ready Player One.
Yeah, exactly. Stick to Bridge of Spies and The Post. Like, stop thinking you could make like young sci-fi. Like,
oh, wait till we see West Side Story. That's going to be him trying to do hip young musical.
I know we just talked about this like 3 or 4 weeks ago, but I forgot, and now I'm upset a little bit.
You could have given that to Lin-Manuel Miranda, who I'm not a fan of, but like that made more sense. Like,
yeah.
But yeah, so I think those are the directors. Like, I wouldn't even consider Cameron and Spielberg bad directors. They're just directors who I don't think are at anywhere near the top of their game anymore. I guess we can't say that about Cameron because he hasn't made a movie since Avatar.
Yeah, he's in the middle of making 4 of them or something right now.
Oh yeah.
Cameron. My issues with Cameron are just that he, at one point, just got it in his head that he was so much more than he was.
He went under the water and swore he was like the shit. Like, I don't know what happened with deep sea adventuring for this man, but like he came out of that like, I'm the best filmmaker. And I'm like, no.
He got the bends and it messed up his brain.
that's this era of Cameron. I love it. That makes a lot more sense why he thinks Avatar is not just Ferngully.
God. Though I will have to say, if anybody ever hears any of my predictions about a movie, like, oh, Dune won't make any money, you'll always have to remember that I looked at the trailer for Avatar and went, nobody's going to see that Blue Cat movie. So...
And do you know, sometimes I feel like those numbers are alive because I, to this day, have never seen Avatar. Never. Not once. And I'm like, I know a lot of people who haven't, so I'm always just like, who saw that movie?
It's a conspiracy.
Yeah, I don't want to like have to like release these like docs that I'll find eventually, but all a Chinese conspiracy. They're the only ones who saw Avatar.
Yeah, you know, I don't know anybody that went. Maybe I know 1 or 2 people that went to see it in theaters, but not really. So it had like the people that liked it had to have gone back like 7 times, and I have no idea why anybody would do that.
I don't think I've only seen a movie 3 times in theaters, 4 times maybe if I really needed to, and that was the first It movie, which I really liked.
I've seen a movie 10 times in theaters.
Ooh, what movie? Tell me so I can make fun of you.
It's The Dark Knight Rises, because I had to convince myself that it wasn't terrible.
Ooh, I guess we already had our Nolan conversation, but I guess that's your only Nolan weak spot too. That almost made you think he's a bad director because
it's a bad movie. It's maybe not badly directed, but certainly something.
I think that's a lot of the problem I have with some directors is like, I can't always blame them for X, Y, and Z because like scripts are bad, sometimes bad actors. I'm trying to think of a director I had at the top of my head that I was just like, I like you, I don't like your movies. Eli Roth is one I consider to be in one of that field. Is I love Eli Roth movies. I think he is a great human being. He's so cool, so nice. Oh man, do I think he's not a great filmmaker when I like The Green Inferno a lot and no one else did. So
I didn't see that. I wanted to because that's like his take on Cannibal Holocaust, isn't it?
Oh, and it's Cannibal Holocaust without the actual like animal hurting. So yay,
Yeah.
actual better film already. So yeah, there's filmmakers like that. But like, I mean, I love John Waters, but like, no one thinks Crybaby or Hairspray are like cinematic gold. I don't even think that Pink Flamingos is literally a bad movie. He doesn't know what cuts are, so he just zooms in on scenes. He's not a good filmmaker. Um, but that's just something about it. And I think that's sometimes bad filmmakers that like we enjoy. Is there a bad filmmaker you have that you're like, ooh, but I will see your movies? Because mine, that is grown to be Tarantino, who I don't like Tarantino movies anymore, but damn it, I'll see it. Like,
um, hmm, probably this might get some hate comments. Kevin Smith.
you know, I would completely 100% agree with you. I consider Kevin Smith and John Waters to be like the same human being. They're more famous for being filmmakers than making films. Like,
Yeah.
I know more about Kevin Smith from one playing Silent Bob, and I know he's usually directed the movies he's Silent Bob in, minus
Yeah.
Scream 3. He's in
Yeah.
that movie. No one ever forget Jay and Silent Bob are in Scream 3. But yeah, I think he's a filmmaker like Tusk, Yoga Hoosers, Clerks 2. I don't think these are like good movies. I don't think Mallrats is a good movie. I think Mallrats is a time capsule of a film.
Yeah.
And I think that's why we like it. Stanley's first cameo, blah, blah, blah. I think there's something in there, and I love Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, but I was like 12, 13 when it came out. Of course I like Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. Like, it worked for me.
I think he just refuses to be better than he is, like willfully. Like he has moments where you're just like, this guy could have been good.
Oh,
like
Red
if
State,
you see Red State,
Clerks.
Yeah.
I think both of those are like really good films. I think like
Chasing Amy's good. Like
we just forget that's him because it's like a good movie. It's like it's kind of I've never seen it, but like the same aspect as like Jersey Girl is a Kevin Smith movie.
Yeah,
never seen it, but like I can't believe it is
not bad. Like he's like I think he actually does good in there and does some serious drama in there, and he caught a little flack for it for having Ben Affleck and Jennifer Lopez in it, and just decided to never do something like that again. So,
the Ben Affleck era.
Yeah,
man, that's a personal moment for me of loving tabloids and stuff. But yeah, I think Kevin Smith is that kind of director that will try something. I always applaud him. He's a director I applaud though, because he is 1000% himself.
Yeah.
Someone else I would put in the same vein as Kevin Smith, and I don't know if you know who I'm thinking of, is who does whatever themselves and pays for their own movies now, M. Night Shyamalan. Where does he fall in this pantheon of, do you think he's a bad director?
No.
Do you think he makes bad movies though? Like,
yeah.
Fun concept though. That's an interesting thing of like, there's some people who have like made bad movies. They're not bad directors. And like, what happens? I mean, I love The Happening because it's a comedy. No one will tell me otherwise.
Well, I think M. Night Shyamalan fell into this thing of believing his own hype for a while and just made Shyamalan movies, and that got old. That got terribly old.
About the time of Signs, definitely by Lady in the Water.
Yeah, I do not like Signs. I think that is a bad movie. I think it's not a poorly directed movie, but I think it's the story of it is bad.
Yeah, anytime Mel Gibson tries to be serious and talk about religion, I'm good.
And I think the one I'll go out on, probably the most successful bad director of all time, would be George Lucas. George Lucas is not a good director. George Lucas is not a good writer. George Lucas is a good idea man and a good producer, I guess.
Okay, I'm trying to think of his filmography.
PHX 1138, which I do like.
Okay.
American Graffiti, which is pretty good.
Okay. I always forget if that's him. I don't know why I always get that one confused with Spielberg. I always feel like it's a similar thing, and then their careers are just weird in the 80s. So, yeah.
Star Wars, which is an accident.
And I always forget he doesn't do Empire Strikes Back, which is the best one.
Didn't do that, or Jedi.
which is not a good one, and that feels like a look. Okay,
That's
I
Richard
would
Lester.
I would
No, not Richard
defend
Lester. Richard Marquand. Sorry.
I would defend him as a good who is like this as well for me. I was trying to think of an example. He's a good idea man.
Yeah.
I love even what his overall arcing plan was for the prequels, even the older films.
Yeah.
Like, I think he's someone who I would want to come in, build me the outline, and then we have other people come in, which is what we should have done with these new movies. And we're not talking about those, but like that's literally what he should have done, and they threw it out. So on you guys.
But as a director, he is.
I would agree then.
He's batting 500 because, like, I don't think Star Wars is the greatest directed thing in the world, but he directed it and it turned out well. But then he wrote and directed the prequels, and those are bad, and he's just not good.
Good. At least you get some shady comments this week. Good, because
that George Lucas anybody's going to fight me on that.
Because it's interesting. I think George Lucas is very beloved, and I think we like him for him. God, he kind of a lot of these directors all have a similar thing, minus Blomkamp, with like we like them. I don't want to hate Kevin Smith, like because I like him. He's in the idea of our industry. He knows more than most of us will ever forget, kind of thing. He's one of those people. Same thing with Lucas. He's been there for so long. They're just not that great. So yeah, I think that's I like that we ended off with Lucas. I think that is a damn good pick because he's going to start a lot of conversations, I think.
Yeah, maybe so.
What is a bad director and what happens? Yeah. All right, guys, thank you so much for tuning in to this fun dissection of what are the worst or bad or whatever we're labeling these directors, because even some of the ones we listed were like, well, asterisk, I like some of this, and this. So yeah, even for you guys, like, if you have a director that you like but has directed bad movies even, let me know down in the comments below. Share all your feelings down below as well. I want to know everything about bad, worst directors. Give me a top 5 if you can. Subscribe to Flickering Myth because I make videos like this every single week, and give me a thumbs up if you did enjoy it. All right, Alan, thank you so much for joining me.
Thanks for having me.
Awesome, and make sure you guys comment down below.